Hey, babe. This is Rel. Welcome to the back of the classroom. Start off by talking about the brand ambassador for Magical Pose, which is a clothing line for men, women, and most teens. You can find them on Instagram, Magical Pose, MAGICALPOSE. You can also find them online at magicalpose.com, MAGICALPOSE.com. And because you are a listener of this podcast, you can use promo code MPREL333, MPREL333 at checkout for a nice little discount. Due to COVID, shipping delays range from 7 to 14 days after processing. Your first email will be with a confirmation and receipt. Second email you will receive once the package is shipped with tracking information. I want to thank everybody who supported this podcast this far with the likes, comments, reposts, shares, anyone who saved it to queue it up to later. All of those things help grow the platform. I would like to thank all the monetary donations. That definitely helps with the development of this platform, and anyone who's interested on Anchor FM, there is a donation button, and those who want to send straight to me via Cash App, $ KingRel333. That's $ KINGREL333. Anybody who want to reach out to me on social media, you can find me on Twitter, KingRel333, KINGREL333. Facebook and Instagram, you can find me, Rel Jackson, REL Jackson, JACKSON. On Instagram, you have to put an underscore after Rel. So Instagram going to be REL underscore Jackson, JACKSON. Anybody who want to see the visual, you can check it out on YouTube. You can find me, Rel Jackson, REL JACKSON. Again, just want to thank everybody who supports this platform, everyone who shares it, listens to it. All those things is appreciated. Today, this one's for the kids. And a lot of kids got it rough, but kids really don't understand how good they got it. So we're going to entitle this The Best Part of Being a Child. Now, of course, as a kid, you don't know what you have. You're just now developing. You are figuring things out. And let me be the first one to tell you, you have so much opportunity. You have so many different avenues and different roles you can take. You can develop in so many different ways and still be successful. A lot of things kids identify with is what they relate to. It's pretty much what you see on a regular day-to-day basis. It's more believable. But I promise you, if you listen to other people's stories, if you talk to the other kids in your class, get their contact information, have a heart-to-heart. Hey, what's it like growing up in your house? If you have cousins, if you have friends that you can reach out to, ask questions, talk to them. Like, yo, how's it like living at home with your parents? What's it like? And, let them give you a legitimate answer. Don't cut them off. Just let them tell you exactly what's going on. And then don't be afraid to share your experiences. Because as adults, what you'll realize is people aren't that different from you. The only difference is the examples you were shown and the guidelines, the rules of the house you live in. So everyone around you has similar experiences. You're just more familiar with the people that you're closest to, that you see on a regular basis. You get to see them, you get to interact with them, and that's great. Unfortunately, you don't know there are other kids around you that have similar but yet very different experiences. And those different experiences can help you have a broader understanding of who you are, what your advantages and disadvantages are. And then it can help you appreciate things a little bit more better because you can understand some of the things that you actually have that some people don't have. Or you might come across somebody who might have a solution to a problem that you have. And one of the things that most people, especially kids, don't realize is the problems you have aren't really unfamiliar to other people. Some people might have had those issues and have overcome those issues. But of course, the people that you're around helped you get to a certain point. And if they had the answers to the issues that you have, you would have solved them already. Unfortunately, the people around you don't have the answers. So if you go outside your circle, whether it's your cousins and immediate friends, and you talk to people outside of that group, you'll see that you have more in common with them than you thought. And they might have some answers to some common issues that you might have that can better your situation. Believe it or not, adults do it. Adults talk to their friends and they have little powwows with their friends, their family members, and people that they're familiar with. And that's how they come to finding solutions to issues that they have. So, as kids, make friends, be friendly, socialize, go to the park, talk to people, say hi, ask them their name, introduce yourself by your name, and enjoy yourself. Adults do it. There's nothing wrong with kids doing it on your level. Doesn't matter if you're 5, if you're 10, if you're 15, because even when you're 20, 25, 30, 35, they do the same thing. You get a new job, it's like going to a new school. You got to introduce yourself. You got to let people know who you are. See how you can fill people out. Get to know who they are. Let them know your strengths. See where you can fit in. See what you can do to help better the situation. And that type of unity is what we need across the board. Everybody has to do that. It's just we want children to still be children and have fun. But a lot of times parents forget what it was like to be kids, or their situation as a child was very different than the situation you have as a child. And a lot of times parents got so many different things going on, they fail to connect the dots. So I'm gonna help you connect the dots. You go to school, whoever you sit next to, introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Rel. I'm so and so, so and so. It's my age. It's where I'm from. What's your name? You're in the same class. The teacher's gonna say it at some point. If you're at a job, you're gonna hear it. Some people wear name tags. So get comfortable talking. Be social, because as the school year progresses, as time passes, you're gonna get to know that person, and because you opened up, it makes the time it takes to get to know that person even quicker. So there's less awkward moments. You can ask that person, hey, can I borrow a pencil? Or if you see they don't have a pencil, you can offer them a pencil. Hey, I got a pencil. You want to borrow it? We call that extending an olive branch. We want you to feel comfortable. We want you to know we mean you no harm, no disrespect, right? We want to come off as courteous and friendly so that the atmosphere, the energy, the way people feel and conduct themselves while they're around you remains friendly, remains non-competitive, and easygoing. Competition can come later. There's nothing wrong with it, provided it's done in a way where there's no ill feelings, there's no ill will. It's purely, hey, I bet you I can get 100, or I can get 100 too, and y'all can shake on it, and then you can drive each other to be better. And be like, oh, you got that one wrong. Oh, you know what? I know this. I can help you. This way you can get better grades. And then vice versa. If there's something you might not know, that person might feel more comfortable helping you out because you helped them out. And now you're building a network. So now you have friends that are like-minded, who want to do good in school, who want to pass, who want to excel and to be the best version of themselves. Now, this is where I would stress, be yourself. Nobody wants a copycat. When you're in school and you're feeling way about something, you're saying something to somebody, you kind of feel away when somebody copies what you're saying and doing what you're doing. It can kind of be annoying a little bit, right? And of course, as an adult, they'll tell you imitation is like flattery, right? It's a compliment. You are so good at what you do that people want to be like you, but they don't want to be like you as far as take over your life and be a clone. What they want to do is they want to be as smart as you. They want to be as clever as you. And remember, the way you learn things is by example. So when you see something, you reenact it. If you watch a baby learn to walk, if you pay attention, the baby watches everybody walks. So the baby's going to want to do what it sees. And that's how we learn as people. So don't feel offended or don't feel negative if somebody starts to do what you do the way that you do it. They're only trying to adapt the mentality that you have that they see as valuable. If what you're doing wasn't valuable, they wouldn't even try. They would not want to do anything that you're doing because it doesn't work. Nobody pretends to do something that fails. Everybody wants to reenact something that was successful, something that they favor, something that they like. And if you're that person that they want to emulate, imitate, and repeat what you do, take that as flattery. Don't be offended. Understand you're like a role model. Somebody's looking towards you so they can better themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. And this is what a role model is when it comes to adults, because kids are watching. So if you're looking at an adult and they're doing something and you start to do what they do, it's the same thing. Now, you don't want to run up and introduce yourself to an idol of yours, somebody you look up to, and they have the attitude you might have when somebody's imitating something you do. You don't want that type of energy. So this is when the golden rule is do unto others as you would like people to do to you. That's where that comes from. You want to be humble. And humble is just simply understanding I'm not better than anybody. I'm just different. And it's okay to be different. But at the end of the day, no one is actually better than anyone. It's just you spent time focusing on something where somebody else spent time focusing on something else. So you've had more time and experience and education and you've seen certain things through more than the next person, where they might be good at something else because that's where their focus was. So just taking yourself away from being better, just understanding that you're different and your focus was always on something else, you'll be fine. When it comes to making mistakes, be okay with making mistakes. The light bulb that we use at home, at school, that was created by a man named Thomas Edison. And believe it or not, a reporter asked Thomas Edison, how does it feel to fail 1,000 times? Edison replied, I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. He took every time it didn't work as a way of knowing how not to build a light bulb. So don't take a failure as in it's just completely wrong. Don't give up, because he didn't give up. And if it took him 1,000 times to perfect a light bulb, that was over 100 years ago. If he had quit, we wouldn't have a light bulb. Imagine that. We're still walking around with candles, or maybe there'd be some different type of light source. But what stops anybody from making a different type of light source? Just because one man created the light bulb doesn't mean we give up on all aspects of building things. People can still look into, building different type of light bulbs. So don't give up. Don't take a failure personal. It's only a failure if you quit and you don't keep going. So if you try to do something and you don't quite get it right, it's okay. Learn from what you did. Stop. Think about everything that you did. You ever notice when your math teacher tells you to write out write out the steps it took for you to get your answer? This way, if you got something wrong, you can always look back at it, see where you went wrong, and fix it. So don't take a failure as a loss. You didn't lose, you learned. And the more you learn, the better you get. Now, you can learn from your own mistakes like Thomas Edison did, or you can talk to people, ask questions, Learn from their mistakes. And when you learn from other people's mistakes, that saves you time and it makes things a lot quicker for you to move forward. Think about your parents. Your parents will learn something at their age of 20, 30, 40. And they teach it to you when you're 5, 10, 15. They didn't learn it at your age that they're teaching it to you. They learned it in a later age as an adult. But imagine you learning something as a kid, it took them all those years to figure out. You're technically more advanced than them because they gave you the solution to a problem it took them so long to figure out. They gave you the answer, which means at the age you are, you know more than they did at the age you are at right now. So don't be afraid to take as much information as possible. If you got to write it down, write it down. Take all this information that they're giving you and apply it to life as it comes. Some things they teach you, it might not mean anything right now, but I promise you, as an adult, you're going to go through the same things you're going through as a child. When you're in school and there's somebody you might not quite get along with, that happens at the workplace. If there's a teacher who might give you a hard time, it's like that at the workplace. You might have a supervisor or a boss that kind of gives you a hard time. And it's not necessarily that they have anything against you. Sometimes they can see the potential. They can see what you can do, and they want you to do better. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to do better. There's nothing wrong with wanting better out of somebody. And believe it or not, that's a compliment. When somebody can look at you and see that you can be more than you're applying yourself, that's like a coach. A coach sees that you can run a little bit faster. Just give it all you got. Give it a little bit more, right? Dig a little bit deeper. Go to that place where you really, 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 really want it. And see if you don't push yourself further and you can get more. You can do better. Studying. Take the time to read over your work. Take notes. Write it out. And just don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen. If everyone's heard the expression, if you fall off the bike, you get back up. So don't let something going wrong deter you from finishing your goal. If you set your mind on something, continue to do it. You know, sometimes parents might tell you, don't do that, it's dangerous. They have their own fears and they want to protect you. But everyone might not let you do the things you want to do out of their own fears. And that's when, as a child, you got to go out, set up some safety parameters. When you go to gym and you're doing certain things, they have mats so you don't hurt yourself. And sometimes you got to get away from your parents and go to somebody who's more qualified to do the things that you want to do. Your parents don't know everything. Better yet, if you have an older aunt, uncle, grandparents, talk with them. Say, hey, how was my mom? How was my dad? How was my uncle? How was my aunt when they were younger? Let them tell you the story of how your parents were and how your uncles and aunts were. You'll be surprised to find out they were just like you or a little bit similar, or they could have been very different. But what you'll realize is who they were as a kid and who they are now as adults. You can look at them and go like, wow. And then you can have conversations with your elders, grandparents, your older aunts and uncles, even your parents, to understand what they went through in life and how they overcame certain issues. A lot of times we might look at our parents and be like, they're not cool, they might not be hip, but that's okay. Because at the end of the day, being cool, it comes and goes. You might be cool for doing one thing and not be cool for doing something else. But are you able to buy the things you want? Are you able to get the things you want? Are you capable of making things happen? If you could do those things, then that's success. Because believe it or not, the person who might not think you're cool might not have anything going on, or they might just see things different. And that's okay if they see it different. But you have scientists who hang out with scientists. You have musicians who hang out with musicians. You have people who hang out with people who have like-minded things that they're interested in. So if a certain group of people don't think you're cool, they might not be into the things that you're into, What you can do is go and find people who are interested in things that you're into. So if you like music, you can go to a music store, you can go to a music school, and I promise you, the people who are there are interested in music. And the things that you do would be considered cool to them because that's the same type of thing that they're into. If you're into science, there's school for science. If you're into robotics, there's schools for that. If you're into singing and arts and craft, rock climbing, studying the earth, worms, don't matter what it is, there are adults who do the same exact thing. You can go online, you can Google it, find out how you can get better at it, who can teach you, guide you, and put you in the right direction because that's something you are genuinely interested in. Talk to your parents, pick their brains, see what they can do to help you be a better version of yourself. Because deep down inside, all parents want their children to be great. And if you're not sure what you want to do, sure, go to school, get familiar, talk to people, ask questions. Something is going to come about to where you'll realize you're actually great at something and you can go ahead and investigate that and learn how to be better at it. Um, what else? Yes, don't be afraid to ask questions. Pay attention to the elderly. If you want to look into the future, talk to older people. Your elders, people who are in their 40s, that's 40 years of experience. People in their 50s, that's 50 years of experience, right? They have time on this planet where they can tell you what has happened, how it played out, and explain why things are the way they are today from their own perspective. And everybody has their own different perspective because everybody wasn't at the same place at the same time seeing the same things. If you got a brother or a sister, y'all'll be there and see the same thing and have two different versions of what happened. It's the same thing with adults. So understanding people have different perspectives, it's not necessarily that they are right or wrong. That's just how they see it. That's just how they felt about it. And you're allowed to make up your own mind about things and then have those discussions and let people know how you feel and how you see things. So when you're in school and you get a vocabulary test, don't feel bad about vocabulary. You just need to learn words that'll help you better articulate yourself. Speak. Help people understand how you see things, how you feel. And communication is so powerful and it's so important because if you pay attention to animals, you don't really see them talking and they're communicating and having conversations back and forth. They're kind of just going with the motion. And that's the best part about being humans is we can talk, we can articulate. And a lot of times you might see adults not articulating and speaking properly. And that's because the vocabulary might not be where it needs to be so that they can articulate themselves properly. So that's something to think about, and it's something you can improve on so that when you're older, you don't have to worry about being misunderstood. Another topic, you got to take care of yourself. The quality of life is based on, and it improves the healthier you are. So if you're healthy, you can enjoy life more. And sometimes you might be born with asthma or something that might take away from that, but you can always improve, you can always get better. So if you have asthma, make sure you have an asthma pump. If your vision's not too good, don't be afraid to wear glasses. Very smart people wear glasses. Kids who don't wear glasses might not think it's cool, and that's okay. Because a lot of smart people wear glasses. A lot of smart people run businesses. And a lot of smart people are in the business of making money and enjoying their life. And it's perfectly fine to wear glasses if it helps you see. Why would you not want to see to fit in with a group of people who don't need glasses in the first place? That, it doesn't cross over too well. If you need glasses to see, look at the cool people who wear glasses. Talk to them. Hey, so how do you like glasses? And they'll tell you. It's not always bad. And a lot of times people base their decisions on how somebody else thinks, what somebody else feels. You got to do what's good for you. You got to do what makes you feel good. If you don't wear glasses and you get headaches because you're not wearing your glasses, that's hurting you. Being cool You might fit in the moment, but now you got to go home and your head hurt, your eyes hurt, and it's unnecessary. Just to be cool by people who don't need to wear glasses, or some people who's gonna walk into a wall because they chose not to wear their glasses, and then people gonna laugh. Where you can wear your glasses, you can see, you can not get a headache, you can feel good, and that's all we want from our youngins, from the children. Whether you're a preteen, teenager, young adult going into the work world, we want you to be the best version of yourself. Something else to consider: exercise. Eat your vegetables. You might let vegetables don't taste all that good, but that's what dessert is for. You want something that tastes good? Try some dessert. But you need to eat for proper nutrition. The largest animal on this planet is an elephant, and he eats greens. He doesn't eat meat. He eats vegetables. The longest living animal is a giant tortoise that's lived up to 256 years old. Doesn't eat meat. He eats vegetables. The strongest animal, land animal on the planet, is a gorilla. Does not eat meat. He eats vegetables. So keep that in mind, because the better you treat your body, you can grow big, strong, and live long by eating vegetables. And when you learn to pick vegetables and mix your vegetables together, how you prepare them and you eat them, you can actually make it taste very good. So that's just something else to think about. Maybe the way you was introduced to it didn't agree with you, but there's a lot of different ways you can eat vegetables. And I'm not saying you can't eat meat. I'm saying have more vegetables. Let the largest amount of food on your plate be the vegetables. Have something else on the side if that's what you care for, but don't ignore your vegetables, because the stronger you can grow, the bigger you can grow, you can do more, you can have more fun with it. And look at the older people around you. Are they walking around with a cane? How many old people you see just walking and having a good old time, running and jumping? And if they got a cane or they got a wheelchair, ask them, did you eat your vegetables when you was younger? When did you start eating vegetables consistently? And then, believe it or not, the answer might surprise you. And when you do see older people walking without it, ask them, hey, how long you been eating vegetables? How come you can walk and run and do things, but some people can't? And listen to their story. There is so much information out there for you guys that it will benefit you. And you take notes on it. The same way you could pass a test in school, you can actually pass through life just being very successful. So I want to end it with this. Be friendly, build relationships, learn what you can and can't do, and then go through life applying what you've learned, right? Adapt and readjust. Everything might not work out the way you first planned it, but there's nothing wrong with readjusting. Proper planning prevents poor performance, which means you got to plan before you act. No matter what you do, if you go grocery shopping, you got to write a list before you go to the store. You want to check the expiration date before you put it in your cart. You want to go over things. You want to make sure all the things you're getting is the quality that you want. Before you cook, you got to take the food out and you got to season it. You got to rinse off the vegetables. All of that is preparation before you do the actual work. When you want to do your homework, what do? You clear off your desk, you open up your books, you make sure you have your pens, your pencils, your water, snack, books, right? Preparation before action. No matter what you do, you got to prepare. And sometimes you got to look ahead, ask the question, see what the details are so you can set yourself up for success. Again, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If you want to reach out, ask questions, you want to debate, you want to get some more information, feel free and reach out. Everybody who's made it this far, I thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.